That's been brought up before, and we haven't really had a good answer to that.
Depends on what the infraction is for. So typically, for any sort of public disorder, public nuisance, state law violation, disorderly conduct, it would be for the occupants at the location at the time. And I think the challenge that represents is, particularly for STR locations, is the individuals that might be ticketed don't have any kind of investment in our community. And so it becomes, the fact of enforcement is to change criminal behavior. That's what enforcement is for. And that deterrent may not be present if one of the key stakeholders is not involved in that transaction.
So if we had some sort of rule that a house, let's say, could lose its standing if it's a short-term rental and has multiple complaints, if you have multiple complaints but it's always someone different in the house, can you count the complaints by the address or only by the occupant of the house? I mean, how do you track that?
Well, in terms of establishing whether or not we had a habitual location, we would track it by the location. In terms of, building some sort of higher level criminal charge, those would be standalone incidents that could not be cobbled together, if you will, from multiple recipients.
So is there any notification process for the owner of the house that their short-term rental has had an issue with the violation?
Not from the police department. So
No.
there's absolutely no structure in state law or city ordinance for that sort of response from the police department's perspective.
I see, and that's my point. It makes all this very difficult because then the short-term rental owner says, well, I didn't know. So I understand now, because your hand's really, I can see where it would be difficult for you to always notify someone other than the person creating the issue at the house. So those are my questions for you. I have a few for Mike.
Well, going along with that, following up though, it would be possible for when that happens, code compliance to know it, and then us to build that in to where code compliance could then notify the owner of the STR. I think that would be a very simple thing to be able to do. Anything else for the chief? Okay. All right, Ms. Moise.
So Mike, can you do that? If he notifies you of a call over the weekend, do you have a way to track that for future reference so that we know that site has had prior noise and party issues?
Sure, we can create a master list that would contain that information. From the code perspective, we will notify the property owner of a code violation at the property. And it will probably include a phone call to make them aware of the code violation and also a follow-up letter. Once we're able to obtain documentation that we have notified the property owner of infractions, then we potentially could issue a citation to the property owner if we can prove in court that we have given reasonable notice to that individual.
Okay, so I have a specific, and you're aware, I sent you an email yesterday with photographs of trash that were the trash was put out on Sunday when the short-term rental occupants left. What is your system for responding to that notification?
So our hope is to achieve observation of that offense through proactive activity. So what we will do is we will identify which days the trash are picked up on, and we will inspect proactively those properties on the days that trash is not picked up.
Yeah, what about long-term offenders?
If it's there on Sunday.
Dummies. Fail.